Hare Krishna everyone. Please accept my humble obeisance at your lotus feet. Thank you so much for joining. May I please also have your Russians. Please can you switch on your videos? If someone can please, if everyone can please switch on their videos. Yes. So we can then we'll start. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so let me share my screen. And by that time, if someone wants to give a overview of what all we have covered till now. Shri Priya Mataji. Saurabh Prabhuji. Just a quick overview of what all we have learned till now. If you just want to share something, if anything, uh, you have understood, and if you want to share with others. Sudha Mataji. Rohini Mataji, would you like to share some details of what all you have learned either in the last class or till now, what all we have covered? Mataji, you're on mute.
Yeah, Pranam Mataji, Hare Krishna. Mataji, in the last class we did from 21 to 25. So till 20 we had seen all the signs of victory. In 21, in sign 20, Sanjay announced Krishna and Lord Krishna and Arjuna had come to the battlefield. And then Arjuna, who was fine so far, he tells Lord Krishna that take the chariot in the midst of the army so that I can come and see who all have come to fight with me. Also, you explain the significance of the word when he addresses Lord Krishna as Achyuta, what Achyuta means, when he says to Lord Krishna that take it in between. And then on the instructions of Arjuna, when Lord Krishna takes it in the middle of the battle, Sanjay uses this word Rishikesha. So you also explain to us in this context, what is the meaning of the word Rishikesha? Like Lord is the control of all the senses, but here he could also sense what Arjuna what was going to overcome Arjuna. You kind of related it to a real life experience also, and you said, he told the Lord that take it in the middle of the battlefield. Lord took it in the middle of the battlefield, and now he's going to get bewildered, and which happens with so many of us. I could relate to that part very clearly because we ask something to God, then he fulfills it, and then we are just overwhelmed with what we have got. So these words were explained. Also, uh, why Arjuna is saying to take in the battlefield? Doesn't he know who all are going to come? So you said that is it like he's fearful? So he's not fearful, which will be revealed in the coming shlokas. And so far what we were seeing is just the battlefield who had come, and now from today onwards you will be explaining actually what was Arjuna's questions, what was the reason that he was bewildered. So this is all that I could summarize, Mataji. So if something is wrong, it is my fault. If something has come across properly, it is your explanation. So
No, Mataji, you have explained it really very well, and I'm happy that you're able to connect through all the dots that we are having discussing in the first chapter. Although when we are going into the details, sometimes it happens that we lose the link, but it is very important to keep revising so that we do not lose the whole connection of like what each verse is telling us. And when we are going into detail, we should still know the overall flow of it. So for all the other devotees as well, it is very important when we try to repeat what we are learning, because Bhagavad Gita is not something which we have innovated, right? It is Krishna's words. It is Krishna's song actually. Bhagavad Gita. Gita is song. So Bhagavad Gita is basically the song of God. So when we are repeating the words of Bhagavad Gita, when we are trying to like recollect and just understand and try to also connect the dots and tell others also. This way, it will help you to understand yourself. You would be able to, like, once we start speaking, then we are or ourselves also convinced, and then you would be able to, like, this knowledge would be more revealed to you. So Bhagavad Gita is it's a beautiful science as we are seeing, and it is very, very important for every devotee to understand this very well, because this acts as the basis of the spiritual knowledge, right? Bhagavad Gita is the basic. It is the fundamental knowledge of spiritual knowledge, right? Everything else comes after. Srimad Bhagavatam comes after that. After that comes Chaitanya Charitamrita and all the other scriptures, right? So first, we have to be really attentive and sincere in understanding Bhagavad Gita, trying to repeat this knowledge, trying to share this knowledge, and asking questions related to what we are learning, so that this knowledge reveals to us. Krishna is in our heart as Paramatma, and he will see the sincerity that, okay, this person really wants to understand Gita, and then he reveal this knowledge, right? So, just I wanted to mention that every class, I'm very thankful to Rohini Mataji that she very nicely gives a recap of all the classes that we have covered. But I would also like to see some more devotees coming up and sharing their realizations. Okay, so moving ahead today. So today, for like already the recap which is given by Rohini Mataji, that what is the exact scene on the warfield right now, and how Krishna is bewildered. Sorry, Arjuna is bewildered, and now Arjun will start giving reasons of why he doesn't want to fight the war. So, at least the first three reasons we'll try to complete today. Let's see how much can be covered. So the first chapter is basically two sections. The first section is the Sainya Nirikshan Yoga, which we discussed till last classes. That we have been discussing the different generals of the army. We are discussing how they are arrayed and who have arrayed them, and how expertly it is all been arranged, and different statements of how Duryodhana explaining and everything, the blowing of conches and the signs of victory and everything. But now comes the Arjun Vishad Yoga, which is from 27 to 46. Now, someone might say that in Sainya Nirikshan Yoga, we saw signs of victory. So everything was in the favor of Pandavas. Suddenly, how come Arjun can become overwhelmed and he can be indecisive and he doesn't want to fight, right? So the whole point lies in verse 27, where verse 26, where he says that he wants to go into the midst of the army, right? In the last section. And after that, once he sees the other army, and when he starts relating with them, then he becomes overwhelmed and he gives these five reasons. So these five reasons are the basic of Bhagavad Gita. If these five reasons were not been spoken by Arjun, then Bhagavad Gita would not have come into place, because after these reasons in the second chapter, then Arjun asked Krishna that, please, I surrender unto you, please guide me. Right. So then Krishna starts speaking. And then he smashes all of these reasons one after another. So those we will cover in the next chapters. But unless and until we understand why Arjun got into such bewilderment and why he gave these reasons. So these reasons are something you would actually see that we as in general people give in their material life also, for different aspects of their life. So how we are also in a bewildering condition of mind, just like Arjuna, and how this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, which Krishna starts to describe after second chapter, will remove all our misconceptions as well. All these are misconceptions of Arjuna, basically. So let's start with the 27th verse. All of you can please unmute your mic and please repeat after me. Tan samikshya sa kaunteya
तान् समीक्ष्य स
समीक्षन्द
कौन्तेय
कौन्तेय
सर्वान् बन्धून् अवस्थितान्
सर्वान्
सर्वान् बन्धूनवस्थितान्
कृपया परयाविष्टो
कृपया
परयाविष्टो
विसीदन् इदमब्रवीत्.
विषीदन्तमब्रवीत्.
Yes, someone can please read the translation.
Hey Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Pranams Mataji. A translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. Hare Krishna.
And I just remembered, I'm very sorry that I did not start with prayers. So it's not never late than ever. So let me please start with prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshadagine. मम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं श्रीरघुपतिं जय श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता की जय. Yes. So, like when the son of Kunti Arjuna saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. So here, the main two words are this, Kripaya and Vishidan. Kripaya is basically Kripaya is basically compassion. That Arjun is basically filled with compassion and he is lamenting. So these two are the main words through which we can understand that after he's seeing his friends and relatives, he becomes so compassionate and he starts to cry and everything starts from here, right? So these are the two main words of this 27th words. How Krishna has put Arjun into illusion. Last class we discussed that why Krishna purposefully gives bigger test to his devotees is so that we can, there are two reasons. One is basically because he wants his devotees to lead the others, right? So if Arjun is being bewildered and Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita through him, to him, then the whole society is benefited. And the other thing is, unless and until we go through big issues, we won't be able to actually surrender unto Krishna fully. So here also, because Krishna is most merciful and Krishna desired to deliver the whole universe. He wanted to deliver the whole universe through his instructions. So what he did, he made Arjun come into illusion. And illusion is illusion of what all religious principles Arjun is mentioning in the coming verses. Through those principles, like those basically are distortion of philosophy of non-violence. So someone might say, like Arjun, whatever reasons we would be discussing now, they are mostly on the basis of non-violence, of why he doesn't want to fight, right? And all the philosophy of non-violence, someone might say that what's wrong in non-violence, right? Non-violence is a good quality, or it's something which is very important for a devotee to have, right? And that there is nothing wrong in it. But we have to understand that non-violence has to be applied in proper sense. So ahimsa is good, but if needed to bring out the positive transformation in society, and we have to also rectify the degraded mentality of the society, then himsa is required. So all these wars that used to happen earlier, it was not because of if someone can please mute, I guess. Yes. So all the wars, that the religious wars, what are religious wars? They are basically fought to establish dharma. They are not just some random wars to establish their territory and to show the other kings that see how powerful I am. The kings were religious, and the kings knew that they are the representative of the Supreme Lord, so they have to follow the religious principles. If a king becomes irreligious, the whole kingdom becomes irreligious, and the whole kingdom would be destroyed. Even the king would be destroyed because the next life would be hellish. So the king, like he used to go for wars where he knew that it is because he has to establish dharma. Here in this case, Pandavas have been like they have been cheated in every possible way. A Kshatriya, those reasons, of course, the answers to all the reasons we will discuss in detail in the second chapter also. But a Kshatriya has to protect dharma. So now, in case of this, in case here, like the Kauravas are ruling the kingdom. Let's say if the Pandavas become non-violent, and if they say, okay, we will not fight, let's say we should not have the war, and we will, no problem, we will just stay somewhere. But then, what about the insult that they have done to Draupadi? What about they have given poison to Bhima? They have given so many types of, they wanted the Pandavas to just die, right, in the Lakshagraha. There are so many types of aggressors which are mentioned in the scriptures, and all the aggressors are basically all the points we will discuss in the coming words, that they were properly fitted to the Kauravas. So in such a case, in case of, let's say, robbers or terrorists, if a person is a terrorist and you will not come with the philosophy of non-violence when you have to deal with a terrorist, right? You will not say that, okay, we should try to change this person and we should try to improve this, but you know that is not possible. A terrorist must be punished because of the crime that he has committed. Similarly, when such big crimes are happening as part of religious war, there is no question of non-violence. A Kshatriya doesn't is not non-violent in such a case. So all the philosophical things that Arjun is going to mention would be more related to non-violence, and we will have to see through the eyes of Dharma Shastra and through the eyes of basically the religion, that why a fight is required in this case, right? So violence has its role in establishing dharma. Now, from 28 to 30 gives is the first reason of Arjuna, which wherein he mentions compassion. He is actually showing the reasons of compassion for his relatives, and very very prominently you would be able to see the bodily attachments that he's having. Also, because when he's giving this reasons of compassion, he's getting some bodily symptoms also. So all those bodily symptoms also we will see. So let's start with text 28. Arjuna uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
दृष्ट्वेवं स्वजनं कृष्ण
Drishtve
Swajanam Krishna
युयुत्सुं समुपस्थितम्
Yuyutsam Samupasthitam
सीदन्ति मामभद्राणि
Siddhanti Mama Patrani
मुखं च परिशुष्यति.
Mukham cha
Parishyati.
Yes, someone can please read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up."
Right. So here one word which is important is swajanam. Swajanam is what? It is relatives, my relatives. So we will see, and someone can also make a note of this, that how many times Krishna is saying Swajanam, Sabandhavan, Swajanam, Swajanam. Every now and then he would be speaking these words, Swajanam, Swajanam. So very prominently the bodily attachment of Krishna, of Arjuna has been shown in these verses. So 28 to 30 we will first read, and then we will go through the details of, sorry, 28 first we'll cover. So Drishtve Vam Swajanam Krishna. So like I was mentioning, my own relatives, right? So Acharya says that his beginning itself is in bewilderment, right? The first thing that Arjun is mentioning is Swajanam. Drishtve Vam Swajanam Krishna. So after seeing my own relatives Krishna, so from the starting only, he is in the bodily conception of life. So now there are two types of relation. One is the soul relation and one is the skin relation. Skin relation, relation as in the bodily relation, right? So on bodily platform, on material platform, if we see who is our relatives. So we will say, okay, I'm born into this family, I'm born in this country, and I belong to so and so caste and creed and so and so sect. So many things we will define based on where we are born. So we will have a set of people who are basically our relatives based on our body, where I have born, but where I have, who are my parents, who are my relatives, and all those things, right? Who are my countrymen. So all these are basically based on my skin. But overall, if we see that overall, what is every person? Every person is a soul. So on spiritual plane, each and every living entity in the entire cosmic manifestation is basically Swajanam. He is our relative, because if Krishna is the eternal father, and if all of us are the eternal part and parcel of Krishna, then Krishna is the eternal father and we are the eternal children, right? And all of us are related because of Krishna. So if we keep Krishna in center, as Krishna says, Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatan. So Krishna is giving that relation to all of us. But we have to see whether we are considering ourselves on the spiritual platform or on the material platform. Based on what is our identity, we will actually give we will actually have our activities being done. So the Sambandha Gyan, Sambandh is basically Sambandh Abhiday Prayojan. So I'll just take a minute to give a detail on this. So what is Sambandha? Sambandh is basically the identity. What you are identifying with will define the Prayojan and the goal. Sorry, the Prayojan and the Abhiday. Abhiday is the process. Sambandh is the knowledge of identity. Abhiday is the process, the knowledge of the process and the process itself. And Prayojan is the goal. Okay, so in Sambandha, we have this knowledge of what my result will be. For example, if I want to have an ice cream, so I must know what an ice cream is. I must know how to get that. And I must also know that how I would feel that after I get it, right? I know I will feel very happy after getting the ice cream. So the knowledge of all these things is called Sambandha. And I want it. That is my main Sambandha, right? Because I am identifying with my body and my body likes ice cream. So I want ice cream, right? So that is Sambandha. Abhiday is what activity that I'll do. Okay, I'll take up my bike. I'll go to the ice cream parlor and I'll buy it, right? So this is the process I will follow. And the result is when I eat it, what happiness that I'm feeling, the taste of ice cream, like what flavor I am taking, what flavor ice cream I am buying, that would be in the Abhiday. But the goal would be the expression of happiness that I'm getting after the ice cream, right? Or in case it can be opposite also. I may not get the ice cream and I may get, I start crying, right? So the goal can be different. But the whole point is that if I want to, if I have a particular Sambandha Gyan, if I identify with this body, then my goal will change. But if I'm not identifying with this body, I'm identifying myself as the devotee of Krishna. So let's say if I say that, okay, I have to offer ice cream to Krishna because it is summer season and I must offer some cool thing to Krishna. So then the whole process changes, right? The whole, basically all the activities which were actually under the modes of nature by now, they have now become transcendental because my identity changed. So now what all activities that I would be doing to either make that ice cream or get that ice cream or whatever, those would become transcendental. And the goal of it, because I want to satisfy the senses of Krishna, I don't want to just satisfy my own senses. So then the goal also becomes transcendental. So here also, here when Arjun is giving these reasons, he's saying my own relatives, right? So he is making that Sambandha Gyan based on his own body. That, okay, these are all my relatives because I have been born into this clan. So this family attachment, which we see, right? It's not so easy to get out through. Kunti Maharani in Srimad Bhagavatam, she prays to Krishna that please remove deep material attachment I have towards my family members. Now, she's a particular person. She's not like that. I will, okay, only I will do Krishna Bhakti and I will not take care of my family members. I should not have any affection towards them. No. The whole point what Kunti Maharani is praying is she is not removing herself from her duty, but she knows that all these people who have been given to me by Krishna as my relatives, bodily relatives, are also Krishna's parts and parcels, right? So I have to also serve them. But my whole point is I should not get materially attached with them, because if a person gets materially attached with any other thing, either matter or living entity or anyone, then it becomes very difficult for us to go back to Krishna because our love has been divided. So here she is praying that my affection towards my family is very strong. Please cut that knot and let my mind be dedicated towards your lotus feet, unobstructed like Ganga flows towards the sea eternally. So this way, Kunti Maharani is praying so nicely to Krishna on removing her family attachment. And a devotee of Krishna is expected to focus on his or her relationship with Krishna and see all other living entities in relationship, in the same connection with Krishna. Right. Now, in this verse, the line which Arjun mentions here is Yuyutsam Samupasthitam. So we saw this word, right, earlier. In Bhagavad Gita 1.1, we saw Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsava. So Yuyutsa, this word particularly means eager to fight. So now there Dhritarashtra was saying that they have been eagerly, like they have been eagerly assembled to fight the war, And then what happened? And then the third line is important. There Dhritarashtra is saying Mamaka Pandava. Mamaka, my sons, Pandava, Pandu's son. So he's separating them. But here Arjun is basically, he's using the same word. But the next thing he's mentioning Swajanam. So he's mentioning Swajanam. Here you can see there is a difference in mentality of Arjun and Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is having this my sons and sons of Pandu mentality, and Arjun is having the mentality of that all of us are of same family. Why should I kill them? They are my own family members. So you would see a difference in mentality of Arjun and Dhritarashtra, because Arjun would keep on saying Swajanam, Swajanam every now and then. Okay. Then in the next 28 to 30 verses, we would see there were 9 symptoms described. So what are the 9 symptoms that are being actually experienced by Arjuna? So the first 2 that we are seeing here is that his limbs are of my body quivering and my mouth is drying up. So if we see that when it happens with us is, one thing is in the material plane, let's say you are in a very cold place, it might happen. But in general sense, in normal sense, if a person is very much, let's say he's attached to some particular person and either that person dies or that person is into very big problem or anything like that, right? So such type of, if you have a lot of attachment towards a particular thing and that thing is taken away, then also these type of symptoms can be felt by normal materialistic people. Right, so let's move ahead. So we will cover 29th verse now. So all of you can please unmute. Vipathuscha sharire me
विपदश्च शरीरे
Vastu
मे
sharire me
Roma harshascha jayate
Roma
Roma harshascha
Harshascha
jayate
Gandivam samsate hastat
Gandivam
Gandivam
Samsate
samsate
Hasta
hastat
Tvakchaiva paridayate.
Bhaktaiva
Vakshaiva
Paridayate.
paridayate.
One of you can please read a translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Body is trembling and my head is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So here all the symptoms, all are symptoms basically. The 9 symptoms, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and the 6th. His body is trembling, his hair is standing on end, his Gandiva bow is slipping from his hand, and his skin is burning. So these type of symptoms Arjun is experiencing. Let's go to the 30th verse and then we will go into the details of each and every line. Nacha shaknomi avasthatum
शक्नोमि
Shaknomi
अवस्थातुं
avastatum
brahmativa cha me manaha
ब्रह्मतीव
brahmativa
मे
me
मनः
manaha
nimittani cha pashyami
निमित्तानि
nimittani cha pashyami
viparitani keshava.
viparitani keshava.
Yes. Thank you. So one of you please translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon. Hare Krishna.
So we have been discussing different names of Krishna till now, right? So by now everyone would be knowing that every time Arjuna is specifically mentioning a name of Krishna, there is a particular meaning why in that place that name has been mentioned. So here also he is saying Keshi demon, right? Killer of Keshi demon, Keshava. So why is he using this particular name of Krishna? Can anyone elaborate? So like he mentioned Madhav as the husband of goddess of fortune. So specifically if there is a discussion on fortune, auspiciousness, inauspiciousness, there he will mention Madhav. That okay, because you are the husband of fortune, you will bring in fortune, right? You will bring in auspiciousness. Similarly, other words also, Madhusudhana, Keshava. So here he's using Keshava, and the words that initially he's using is he's having these symptoms, bodily symptoms, that he's unable to stand, he's forgetting himself, and his mind is reeling, and I foresee only evil. So someone just wants to guess based on whatever we have discussed till now in the earlier verses also, that how this Keshav fits in here. Any guess that you want to do, if even if it is wrong, that's not a problem.
Because it is written in the synonym, Keshava, killer of the deep, Keshi.
Yes, but what is the thought of Arjun behind saying Keshav? That I'm asking.
To kill
Why
his
he's saying, "O
thought,
killer of
Mataji,
Keshi
to
demon"?
kill the thoughts that is coming in his mind, Mataji. All demonic thoughts that is coming in his mind. I think that's why he's giving that
Yes,
name.
right, correct, Mataji. So here he is into a bewildering situation, right? So he wants that, okay, Krishna, you have killed the Keshi demon, please kill these thoughts of mine as well, right? So in that way, everywhere, in fact, you can make a note of this. This would be a very nice exercise for all of you. That in every verse, whichever name of Krishna Arjun is saying, you can relate to that. Okay, what is the situation? What is the thought process of Arjun behind saying this name? Because it's a whole psychology, right? Why there are so many names of Krishna? Why he cannot just say, oh Krishna, oh Krishna, oh Krishna? Why he's saying, oh Madhusudana, oh Keshava, oh Janardana, oh Achyuta? So there are so many names of Krishna being addressed by Arjuna at different places with a different motive. So that motive is important to know. So this is a nice exercise that you can do. So Srila Prabhupada says in this particular verse purport that excessive material attachment for material things puts a man in such a bewildering situation. Now, it might also happen that we might not have experienced such bewildering situations in our life. So it becomes very difficult for us to see that how can one person get so many symptoms like these, right? So therefore, Srila Prabhupada is specifically mentioning that excessive material attachment leads to this. So when those excessive material attachment, such material thing is taken away, then we also feel such such symptoms, right? So let's go one by one from 28 to 30. Drishtvevam Swajanam Krishna. My dear Krishna, see my friends and relatives, sir. My friends and relatives. Then, sorry. Yuyutsam samupasthitam, present before me in such a fighting spirit. Then he starts mentioning, okay, that my limbs of my body are quivering, my mouth is drying up, my whole body is trembling. All these one lines that mentioned here are all basically the symptoms that Arjuna is showing, right, at this point of time. So now, Prabhupada mentions that Arjun felt compassionate for his own soldiers and even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. So now, when everyone has been assembled in such a big war field, it is very obvious that people are going to die. So that is why Arjuna is getting compassionate for not only his own soldiers, but for the other soldiers as well. And he's seeing their imminent death. That is why. And this is due to the soft-heartedness of Arjuna, which is a characteristic of pure devotee. So a pure devotee is very compassionate at heart, and that is why we see that how Srila Prabhupada in this mature age of 69, he is going to other country bearing heart attacks. He could have easily left all of this, right? But still, because he is able to see the suffering of the material people, of the people of this material world, and he wants them to go back to Krishna. You have got this human form of life. Why don't you go back to Krishna? Why don't you put your energy in going back to Krishna? So for that, he is taking so much of effort. He's translating books and books. Just some time back, I was reading, and I never thought on this before, but through the words of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, we can understand what a big contribution Srila Prabhupada has given. So after Ved Vyas, there have been so many Vaishnava Acharyas actually, but the literary contribution which Ved Vyas has given. After that, there have been many acharyas who have also given a lot of contribution in the terms of giving commentaries and books and all those things. But Srila Prabhupada is second after Ved Vyas. So we can just imagine how much Srila Prabhupada has given. I guess that initially when they published, there were 19 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. There were around 40 books of Srimad Bhagavatam, like, because each canto is not just in one book. There were many books printed because it cannot be covered in one book. It was so much. So many books word to word translation, big Srila Prabhupada purports, Srimad Bhagavad Gita being the first and foremost, and then so many other books. So if we think that I have to understand what Srila Prabhupada has given, it is everything. Everything he wants to give, he has given in his books. So I have heard this before that, okay, Srila Prabhupada has given everything in his books. But when I understood that after Vedyas, Srila Prabhupada is the highest. Among all the previous acharyas also, Srila Prabhupada is the highest. So we can understand that how much Srila Prabhupada has given. Okay. So moving ahead. So here till now, everyone is able to understand, right? That Arjun, after seeing the relatives, he was facing all these bodily symptoms, and he described each of them in 28 to 30 words. And basically, the whole point is he was having compassion. Also, Srila Prabhupada writes one thing in the purport is that any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities. So the good qualities can be seen in two perspectives. For a religious, from a religious perspective, any good person would any religious person would appreciate the heartedness of Arjun. That okay, he's feeling so compassionate towards his relatives. He doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to kill them. Right? Any material person will think, this is very nice. This is not wrong. But from a spiritual perspective, we have to see that the eternal. What is difference between eternal and temporary? And thus, the compassion and lamentation that Arjun is showing in these verses is basically heavily criticized by Krishna in the later verses. Okay. So let's start with the second argument. I guess the first argument is clear with everyone. The argument of compassion. That by seeing his relatives, he is getting compassionate that I don't want to fight because they are my own relatives. Okay. Just a second, just a minute. So Rohini Mataji, I've given you the co-host setting, so you can unmute or mute people just to avoid some disturbances. Okay, so let's start with 31st verse. Nacha Shreyo Nupashyami
Nacha Shreyo
पश्यामि
Hatva Swajanama Ahave
Atva Swajanam
Swajanamahave
हवे
Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna
Nakangshe
Nakangshe
विजयं
Vijayam Krishna
कृष्ण
Nacha Rajyam Sukhani Cha.
Nacha Rajyam
Rajyam
सुखानि
Sukhaani
च
So just see how clear this verse is. Bhagavad Gita is so clear. Nacha Shreyo Nupashyami. So Krishna, I do not see how any good can come by killing our own kinsmen. Again, he's saying Swajanam. Hatva Swajanam Ahave. Then Na Kangshe Vijayam Krishna. I'm not aspiring for victory. Akanksha. Or here in Sanskrit it is mentioned as Kangshe. So Na Kangshe Vijayam Krishna. So this is very clear that he is not desiring any subsequent victory. Nacha Rajyam Sukhani cha. Rajyam is kingdom. Sukhani is the enjoyment or happiness that we get after getting the kingdom. So here Krishna, here Arjun is directly he is rejecting all of these things. What he is rejecting? The whole point of enjoyment. Now, a person would say that, okay, why I am fighting this war? I'm fighting to enjoy the results of it, right? To enjoy the result of a very big kingdom. At that point of time, it was not like it's just one country or one small region for which the Pandavas and Kauravas were fighting. It was for the whole world. Later, Yudhishthir Maharaj was the ruler of the whole world, right? So you can understand from material perspective, if someone is the ruler of the whole world, how much opulence he would get. So Arjun is saying that I am not wanting any of this enjoyment. I do not want this kingdom and I do not desire for them just because I have to kill my relatives for it, right? So the whole point is he is describing that I'm not desirous of this enjoyment. Okay. Yes. So here, yeah, we just discussed it, that I don't see any good fortune or auspiciousness in this by killing our own family members. I don't desire any victory, kingdom, and enjoyment. And this particular line shows the detachment of Krishna. And Nacha Rajyam Sukhanicha is not the subsequent kingdom. And I would request devotees to please mute themselves. Yes, thank you, Mataji. So, Srila Prabhupada says sometimes that people also forget the causes of their material happiness also. So, like for example, here, Kshatriya, by default, it is his nature to fight for the right? Ideally for the right. And Kshatriya must also have a kingdom to rule. A Kshatriya will not be happy if he has to live like a sage, because every person has their own inherent nature, right? Vaishya would be happy in business. A Shudra would be happy in serving others. A Brahman would be happy in learning scriptures, guiding the society through the scriptures. So Kshatriya is someone who would by default on material planes, he would be happy if he gets a kingdom to rule and if he's ruling that kingdom in a right, in a shastric way. So even if Arjun wants to leave all of these things and doesn't want to fight and doesn't want to enjoy the kingdom, but this is not the way he would actually be happy in this material sense, right? It is not recommended for him. It is, in fact, to get a kingdom and to rule it in the right way, that is recommended, bona fide and enjoyable way of life for Kshatriya. So here Arjun is forgetting the cause of his material happiness also. He's thinking that I will be happy without fighting. But that is not the case. It will not happen later if he leaves all of this. Then he also gives an example. Srila Prabhupada says that if you don't feel like eating, you do not feel like cooking also. So if I don't feel like eating, I'm like, okay, I don't want to eat today. So why would I have any desire to cook? Similarly, here Arjun is not desiring the results of victory. So because the overall result is something which he is not desirous of, he is not also wanting to fight. He has no interest in victory, and therefore he's saying, why should I fight? So here also he is displaying soft-heartedness towards his enemies, and this is one of the good qualities which Arjun is showing, but it is not rightly placed here. Okay. So from 32 to 35, Srila Prabhupada has clubbed these verses because they are of that one same theme of enjoying the results of our activities. Okay, the whole theme of these 32 to 35 is same. So we will go one by one. So you all can please unmute and repeat after me. Kim no rajyena govinda,
Kim no
Kim no
rajyena
rajyena
govinda,
govinda,
kim bhogair jivetena va,
Kim
bhogo
bhogajivedinaha
vedena
yesham arthe kangshitam no,
yeshamarte
Yeshamarte
kangshitam no
kangshitam no
rajyam bhoga sukhani cha,
rajyam
Rajyam
bhoga
bhoga
sukhani
sukhani
cha
cha
Okay, let us read all of them together. Ta ime vasthita yuddhe,
taimeva
Taimeva
taimevastita
sthita
sthita
yuddhe,
yuddhe
pranam styaktva dhanani cha,
pranam
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 tyakta
tyakta
dhanani cha
dhanani
dhanani
cha,
cha
acharya pitara putras,
acharya
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 pitara
putra
pitara
putras,
putra
tathaiva cha pitamaha,
tathaiva
Tathaiva
cha
cha
tathaiva cha
pitamaha,
pitamaha
pitamaha
matula swasura pautra,
matula
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 swasura
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 pautra
pautra
shalah sambandhinas
shala
Shala
sambandhinastha
sambandhinastata
etanna hantumichhami,
etana
etanaham
Etanahantumichhami
ghnaatopi madhusudana,
nanatopi
Tatopi
madhusudana
Madhusudana
api त्रैलोक्य राज्यस्य
api
Api
त्रैलोक्य
Apitrailokyarajasya
rajasya
Rajasya
हेतो किं नु मही कृते
hetu
hetu
Ketu
kimnu
Kim
kimu
mahi
Mahikate
निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान्
Nihatya
nihatya
nihatyadartarashtrana
का का प्रीति स्य जनार्दन
kapritisya
Kapritya
janardana.
Janardana
Okay. Yes, one of you please give the translation.
May I, Mataji?
Yes, please. Mataji.
O Govinda, of what avail to us our kingdoms, happiness, or even life itself when all those for whom we are them are now arrayed in this battlefield. O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-law, and all relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, then why should I wish to kill them? May survive. O maintainer of all creatures, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this.
Yes, thank you so much, Mataji. So here Arjun is giving the same reason. It is the same theme of how can I kill my relatives and just to enjoy the kingdom. And he is just mentioning one and the other reason, just one after another. So here he is saying that what avail to us our kingdom's happiness or even life itself when all of those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed in this battlefield. So here, if you can see the desire of showing our victory to others and then getting happy, because if we are able to share our opulence with others, or if we are, like for example, a yogi, if he can walk on water, so he will not just keep walking on water just for his own satisfaction. Ideally, in material sense, in general way, people do any kind of material thing because they are getting appreciated for it. So if a person is if a yogi is walking on water, he will not derive so much of happiness just by walking on water. But if there are hundreds of people standing on the bank seeing, oh my God, just look at this person, he is walking on water, then he will derive that enjoyment. Oh wow, there is fame, there is that prestige that I'm getting. Because of that sense of prestige, he will do that activity. Similarly, if a person is having a lot of degrees, ideally, if he would have been alone, like if there will be no people to say that okay, you have got so many degrees, or you are so learned, you are so knowledgeable. Then there are societies who would congratulate him. They will give him different types of awards and certificates and everything. He will never ever want also to actually get so many certificates and so many degrees. So for all the material, this is in general sense, there can be very few people in the whole world who are enjoying their results in seclusion. It's not like that. It is not true. But in general sense, in general material sense, all the people want a particular what we can say. They want some people to recognize them. In offices also, you would see that there is a whole recognition, this whole theme, right? That the managers have been asked that you please keep recognizing your employees, please give them awards, please give them some kind of perks and things, right? So that they are motivated to work. Oh, I'm getting awarded, I'm getting this prestige, I'm getting promotion. Similarly, that is the thing why people are doing any activity. So here also Arjun is giving in one way he's saying the same thing, that if I am fighting this war and if all my family members die in this war, with whom I would enjoy this victory. So then he starts mentioning all the names that I have: grandfather, acharya, sons, grandsons, mama, right? All the brothers-in-law, relatives, so many. All of them, all of my family would be destroyed in this war. Then whom am I going to share this victory with? Right. So this is the first thing that Arjun is saying. And then after mentioning all his relatives, he's saying that even if they are ready to give up the properties and their lives and they are standing before me and they are still wanting to fight with me, then also why should I kill them just because of this one reason, that whom I would enjoy this victory with, right? So, O maintainer of all creatures, I'm not prepared to fight with them, even in the exchange of three worlds. So now see how big statements Arjun is saying, that even if you give me three worlds, so now this fight is for this one Earth planet, right? So we have lower planetary system, we have the Bhur planetary system, which is the middle one, and the Bhuvar, which is the Swarg, the celestial planetary system. So here, if Arjun is saying Earth is actually basically a point. If you see in the structure of universe, Earth is just like one point and in front of the 14 planetary systems. So this fight is for that one point, right? And Arjun is saying, if you give me all the 14 planetary systems, all the three worlds, still I'm not ready to fight. So such big sentences Arjun is saying to Krishna. So So here he, like I mentioned, the whole theme of these 32 to 35 is there is no pleasure without any with my relatives, without my relatives. So here the same thing that we mentioned, that if someone is, let's say, wearing a very costly clothes, right, and he wants to go to a party where there will be very, very big delegates coming from different countries, and they are very recognized people in their own field, and that one person would like to wear very nice clothes, costly sandals, shoes, everything, just so that they may recognize him, that okay, this person is also of their own standard, right? But will this person want to sleep in these clothes? No, right? He will have his own night dress and Bermuda and all those things when he's sleeping. So people are not very much cognizant, or sorry, people are not wanting to impress their own people. Like if someone will carry all these things only where he wants to influence people, where he wants to show some of his own talent, right? But in his own family, he's all fine with the night dress and everything. He's not thinking that what my family would think, what my wife would think. Similarly, everything people are doing for जो बोलते हैं ना चार लोग, what will the society say, what will the other people say? So that way. So generally, anything material that we gain, it cannot give any enjoyment to us. Only when many people appreciate us for owning that thing, then we get an enjoyment. So here, when Arjun is saying this line, "Etan nahantum ichchami hinatopi madhusudana." So here, in one sense, he's showing the detachment, right? And in the other sense, it is showing the material attachment to godly relatives. He's showing detachment as in, if you give me the whole world, Krishna, still I don't want to fight. So that's a very big statement. That's a very big showcase of detached person, how Arjun is, that he is not wanting the whole the three worlds also. Even the three worlds is less in front of his relatives. So in that way, one sense, he's been shown as someone with a lot of sense control and detachment. But in the other sense, why he's doing that? The whole point is the intention of our activity. So the intention is for his relatives. So then when it comes to his relatives, then it becomes very opposite. It is showing the material attachment. Okay. So now in this particular verses that we have just covered, Krishna has been addressed as Govinda, Madhusudana, Janardana, right? So Govinda is Krishna, who is the object of all pleasure for cows and senses. And by using this particular word, Govinda, Arjun indicates that what will satisfy his own senses. So he's like, Krishna, you're Govinda, and you are the pleasure giving person to cows and the senses of everyone. So you please also give pleasure to my senses by agreeing to my point. Getting it? So I will get pleasure because you will agree that, okay, yes, Arjuna, you're very right. You should not fight this war. Or these are all your swajanam. So this way, this is the intention what Arjun is speaking this word, Govind. Then he says Madhusudana. So Arjun, he did not want to kill his relatives. And if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally, as he did with Madhu demon. So Krishna killed Madhu demon. So he's like, if you still so much want me to fight this war, you only kill them. Okay, so that is one meaning of Madhusudana, and similar goes for Janardana also. So Janardana is one who kills the miscreants. So if all the people are supposed to be killed, then Krishna, you being Janardana, please kill them. So this way, Arjun is using these words of Govinda, Madhusudan, and Janardhan in these verses. And like I mentioned, the self-control and detachment thing, which Arjun is showing in these verses, right? So what is the use of kingdom or happiness of life? This particular line in itself shows that Arjun had a lot of sense and mind control. Now, if you keep yourself in the position of Arjun and someone says that you are going to get the whole world, you have all the signs of victory. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is your charioteer. He is ready to make everything favorable for you. And it is very definite that you are going to win. Will you say that, okay, I am not going to fight even if you give me all the three words? We have to ask ourselves what Arjuna is going through and what kind of statements he is saying. Will we be saying that? Then we can understand the intensity. Then we can appreciate that, yes, this person is detached. And how can someone be detached? Only if that person has sense control and mind control. So if a person is not wanting his own sense enjoyment and mind enjoyment, then only this detachment can be shown by him. So this way, Arjun was a very detached person. But the material attachment that has been shown, that particular thing would be challenged by Krishna in the next chapter. The whole other point here, you see that Arjun is keep on saying, just from 28 till 30, he gave the first reason of compassion. Now he gave the second reason from 31 to 35 of enjoyment. Is Krishna speaking anything in between? He's not speaking, right? One of the, and when he starts speaking, we will discuss this in detail in the second chapter, why he did not speak for this long. Krishna did not speak only till all the reasons were completed, till Arjun started crying and he stopped. He said that I'm not going to, or I'm not able to decide what should I do. All those things happens. Krishna is he's a silent listener. So why he's also not saying is because he doesn't want this war to stop like this. He wants the war. And why Krishna would want this war is because he cannot tolerate any wrongdoing towards his own devotee. So Pandavas are very, very dear devotees of Krishna. So, and Kauravas have done a lot of aparadh towards them. They were actually wanting to kill them. What could be a bigger aparadh than they want to kill these devotees? So therefore, Krishna here, he's not wanting this war to stop, and therefore he's not even stopping Arjuna. Okay, so let's move ahead. So yes, from 32 till 35 we have covered. From 36 to 38 comes the argument 3, which is sinful reaction. I forgot to mention here. I'll mention and then share the PPT with you all. So by the time we can go through the words, you all can please unmute yourself. Papam eva shrayat asman
Apam evashtrayat asman
hatvaitan atatayinaha
hatvaitan
Advaitanaatataina
tasman narha vayam hantum
tasmanarha vayam hantum
dhartarashtran sabandhavan
datarashtrasa padvan
swajanam hi katham hatva
swajanam hi katam hatva
sukhina shama madhava.
vinasham
And yes, someone can please read a translation.
Shall I, Mataji?
Yes, please, Mataji.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
So, yes, here Arjun is he started giving the third reason, and which is sin will overcome us. So we would be filled with sin if we are slaying these aggressors. Atatayina. Atatai means aggressors. What is okay, so I see that it's 5 p.m. and this particular this from 36 to 38. It would be better if we can take this all together because it is all related to this sinful reaction. This is the argument 3. So better we can stop here and we can have some questions for today. So if you have any questions, if you can just recap on what all we have covered. The first compassion reason and the second enjoyment reason. So if someone is having any questions, they are free to ask. We will cover the next set of verses in the next class because of time. Okay. So if everyone remembers, or I would still like to repeat. So how do we gain knowledge? There is a 25, 25, 25, 25 approach. So 25% you understand when you are hearing this knowledge. 25% is when you contemplate on it. Another 25% is when you ask questions. And there was another 25%. With time it is revealed to you. So with time you get into particular situations and then you realize that knowledge. based on Krishna's mercy. So my role is 25%. I am giving you like whatever I'm trying to speak here. I'm trying to help you only 25%. But the rest of the 50% is with you. Another 25 is with Krishna. So that is also not in your hands. But the 50% is with you all. So if you try to contemplate, if you try to revise what we are learning in each of the session, go through the PPTs, go through the notes that you all are so nicely making. And then if you also ask questions, because when we read Srila Prabhupada's purports and when we try to go through the topic again, there would be some or the other thing which would be in our mind. So it is always better to get it clarified, because sometimes it might happen that you might feel that it's a simple doubt, but for others it can be a big question, right? So still anyone, if they would want to ask anything? Okay, so Mataji, it's 25% you hear from the teacher and you understand from the teacher. 25% is when you contemplate on that knowledge. 25% is when you ask questions submissively and try to understand the answers. And the rest of 25% is with time, it is revealed to you. So this is the 100% of gaining knowledge. Yes.
Mataji, with time means by experience.
With experience, yes. So
Okay.
let's say if I hear that verse of Bhagavad Gita, that one, right, wherein that Krishna says that you must tolerate heat and cold, honor,
Yes.
dishonor, and all those things. But I will not be actually able to realize this unless there is a dishonor coming up with me, right? So if there is a dishonor, then only I will, let's say if I'm not able to tolerate, then I will contemplate, okay, I was not able to tolerate. So what was the reason I was not able to tolerate? All those things, right? And then this knowledge gets revealed. So it will not happen unless and until those situations come upon us.
Yes, that's experience.
Yes. And in that experience, we have to refer to Shastra, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So at that point of time, if we are not referring to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and if we are acting based on our own lower material modes and natures, like I mentioned in the last class, then we won't be able to understand. The rest 25% will still become zero. Yes, Rohini Mataji, I have a question.
Mataji, contemplation, revising.
Contemplation is also revising and also thinking on that topic.
Okay, manana.
So, mananam. Shravanam
Okay.
is done. Mananam is
Yes.
something which is on your end. Yes.
Yes.
I guess Rohini Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, I had this doubt earlier, though I'm not sure if it's important. Just out of curiosity, I'm asking. Keshav, killer of Keshi, who is this Madhu? Because even in that pastimes Krishna book, there was no Madhu demon, no Mataji. Who, when did Krishna kill Madhu?
So for
I
this,
don't
I
rem-
will also have to get into the details of the pastime, because I do not remember it right away. But yes, Madhusudan is the killer of Madhu demon. Yes.
There were Madhu Kaitabas, Mataji.
Kaitaba,
Madhu and Kaitaba.
two demons
So
were
in that
there,
Madhu, I
Mataji.
think,
So
he had,
Krishna had
in Vishnu Rupa, he had killed.
So it is there in the Krishna book, Mataji, because in that Krishna book pastime,
I don't
I
think
couldn't.
No, it's not there in that, Mataji.
Oh,
When he was in Vishnu Rupa, he had killed Mataji. Madhu Kaitabarana ಕೊಂದದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ.
okay. Thank you.
Nearly for 5,000 years, he will be fighting with them, Madhu Kaitabas.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for explaining that. Yes. So, so everyone should be ready in the next class with these 5 reasons. This is something
So
important.
we have seen so many names today, Mataji. Keshava, Madhusudana, Madhava,
Janardana, Madhava,
Janardana.
Govinda.
Govinda. Yes.
So we have to
So
think
this
of
could be a good exercise for all of you, that you can just go through Bhagavad Gita verse by verse and see, okay, here Arjun has mentioned as Achyuta, here is Govinda, here Janardana, here Madhusudana, here Madhava. In that way, you can have a list of verses and the name that Arjun is mentioning and the reason of why he's mentioning that. So this would be a good contemplation practice for you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I guess we are good to close. Every time I see, there are some devotees whom I would really appreciate because they are very, very regular and joining each and every class. But there are some devotees who comes and goes. So even if you're coming and going, please go through all the recordings in the YouTube so that you are able to have the connect between the previous session if you have missed and the session you are attending today, right? Okay. So with this, I would really like to thank all of you that because of you, this seva has been given to me. I myself am getting purified. If there is anything that I'm saying wrong or if it is offending you, please accept my forgiveness at your lotus feet. And I would also request you to please get it clarified from me if there is something which has offended. Also, thank you so much for joining in every time. I would request to please keep joining because when we go into the depth of the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, it is very auspicious as well as it is very important. As devotees, we must know what Bhagavad Gita is in detail. So thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. श्रील
Ananta
प्रभुपाद
Koti
की
Vaishnava
जय,
Ki
अनंत
Jai.
कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji, for
Mataji.
the wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.